Hey guys, this is Kamal Sharma and in this video we'll talk about cache and CDN. Let's first talk about cache. Cache plays a very important role to provide low latency. It is a type of temporary and short-term memory. A user request travels from load balancer, web server, application server, database and many other components in the complex system. And each component takes its own time and that would increase latency with throughput. But when we are using cache, then the server would first check if the data is available in cache. If it is there, then request can be fulfilled from cache, else it would send request to the application server and would return the results. We can use cache at any level like client and web server and application server, or application server and database. CDN. CDN is also a type of cache that is mainly used for static files. You might have seen many websites use CDN to serve JavaScripts, images and HTML. When millions of users are accessing applications, it helps to load websites quickly and also decrease load on server. We can use any CDN service or create our own. So why does it matter in system design? It is seen in large systems that 20% users generate 80% of traffic. So if we can identify the top 20% most accessed item in the system and directly fulfill the request from cache itself, then we can utilize our resources in a very much optimized manner. If a YouTube-like application is getting 1 billion view requests on a daily basis and most of the people watch hot or trending videos, so if we can cache 20% top videos, then our system would perform far better with lower latency and better user experience. Now there is a term called distributed caching. Let's talk about that. In large systems, cache can't be served through a single server. So it needs to be on multiple servers and it is called distributed cache. So all the load balancing, data partitioning concepts would need to apply, and that would make it more complex than traditional single server cache. This was the brief idea. Now let's see what are challenges to implement cache. The first challenge is in the system design, you need to identify what different items can be most eligible for cache and what are the different places where cache can be implemented. Another thing is you should be aware about some of the cache management techniques. Cache management means adding or deleting items in cache or updating in existing item. Let's talk about challenges in add or remove items in cache. Since cache is a limited memory and we are only keeping top 20%, in case the cache is full and we need to add a new item, since we don't have space, so something needs to get removed. So there are some data eviction policies that can be used. First in, first out, last in, first out, list recently used, most recently used, list frequently used, or random replacement. These eviction policies can be used as per use case. List recently used is quite famous in case we are keeping hot items in cache. The another challenge in cache management is updating an item. When the data gets updated in the database, we need to update in the cache as well. Otherwise, cache would return stale data or false data. The process of data updation in cache is called cache invalidation. The major drawback for cache invalidation process is that it increases latency for read request. So there are some caching strategy that can be used to cache invalidation, but it completely depends on use case or the kind of system you design. First is write through. In this approach, when any data changes, update database and cache it together. It would increase write latency, but data would always be consistent. Next strategy is update database and invalidate the cache. So when any new request comes, that data needs to be read from the database. This situation is called cache miss. So it would increase read latency for the first request. Later all the request would be read from cache until any update. The third strategy is write back. In this approach, updates are directly returned to the cache and later original database synced with cache. This kind of approach would be fast in writing, but there would be always a chance to lose the data. Similarly, there are other approaches as well. This was all about cache and CDN. If you have any question, comment or message me on LinkedIn. In the next video, we'll talk about load balancing and fault tolerance. Thanks for watching.